Hi and welcome back to Channel Zero X. I am Michael Endon. This is Caroline,
Hello, everyone.
and we are going to be doing part two of the Avengers Endgame spoilers, professed spoilers that were written about in BGR.com by Chris Smith. This is sourced from an anonymous Redditor, but he has apparently, or she, apparently predicted quite accurately what would transpire in Infinity War, enough to give some credibility to this source on the subject of Endgame. So let's continue on.
Okay, major spoiler alert though. Like yesterday, if you don't want to know or hear what may happen in the film, then please switch off now and don't listen to any more.
Yeah, don't blow it for yourselves unless you want to, like
I
we have.
can't resist a spoiler. I
Yeah,
just can't resist it.
yeah. Well, I don't even know if I'm going to see the movie, but let's give
What, because
pause.
of Captain Marvel being in it?
Yeah, but if I hear that it's just wall to wall Marvel, Captain Marvel throwing Thanos around, I'm going to probably give it a pass,
Yeah, me
a
too.
miss. Yeah. So apparently, Iron Man reassembles the Avengers and decides to build his own Infinity Gauntlet to undo everything that Thanos did. Now, the idea of somebody else wielding the Infinity Gauntlet, I think it was kind of. I'm surprised I didn't think of that. I hadn't read the comics, the Infinity War comics, but presumably
No.
somebody else gets hold of it at some point. But here, this idea that one of the Avengers we're familiar with getting somehow prizing it off him, or somehow
Well, it
tricking
says
him.
build his
Yeah,
own, doesn't it? So he's going to recreate or
yeah,
create another
well,
one rather.
yeah, but either way, a weapon of comparable power. Again, is that a little bit of a ghost in the machine? Wasn't it supposed to be the case that something like the Infinity Gauntlet was kind of like a unique item? That's what made it such a formidable thing. If any old person, even of the Avengers abilities, is able to just duplicate it somehow, I'm not saying it'd be easy, but wouldn't that be a bit,
Hmm.
uh, you know,
It's not the most imaginative way they could have gone, is it?
yeah, but maybe as an audience pleaser, maybe people could,
Yeah, but
be,
I don't know if it will please the audience because I'm thinking about it while I've
mm,
read it and I'm not sure it
yeah.
pleases me, to be honest.
Well, I guess in the hands of the Russo brothers, if anyone can make it work, the Russo brothers can.
Mm.
At the moment, they've got the benefit of the doubt. But going on, they recruit Ant-Man to help them travel through time and space using the quantum realm to retrieve the Infinity Stones from different time periods. Thanos finds out about their plans and becomes hell bent on stopping them. Well, I kind of figured, isn't he already hell bent on stopping everyone already? And I'm
Yeah, I
sure he's
think
got
that it didn't need to be said,
plenty of
really, but
security measures, considering he's got the damn gauntlet still. Uh, shouldn't he have sentience? Shouldn't he have awareness of everything that's kind of going around? Isn't he supposed to be pretty much omniscient, omnipotent?
but then there'd be no film.
There probably would be no film, but I think they'd have to be pretty clever. They would always find some kind of way around that. Some kind of trickery, or some sort of mental somersaults where no matter how powerful perhaps Thanos is, there is some way to circumvent that. I guess again with this quantum realm business, with the smallest, not an insignificant character necessarily, Ant-Man, but certainly one of the more underpowered.
And also less well known in
Mm,
terms of, having built up a history with the
mm,
audience. Anyway, it goes on to say the movie revolves around the relationship between Captain America and Iron Man. At one point, Captain America and Thor fight Thanos. Timeline alterations have restored Mjolnir, and Cap wields it against Thanos to allow the others to escape and is killed holding Thanos off.
mm.
Big one.
Yeah, I don't think anyone is really expecting Captain America, or for that matter, Iron Man, to survive Endgame. Uh, Simply because the contracts are up, from what I understand, for both actors,
And
and
Thor, I think.
yeah, and if they just walk off into the sunset or fly off, or whatever the case may be, and they're a bit battered and bruised, but ultimately they survive, to fight another day, even if they profess to retire, that would be a bit of an anticlimax, I think, for a lot of us, considering that the rumors have just been circulating for so long now, that this is, the final result. Again, I guess there is some sort of background in the comics about this. Obviously, those characters are still back now, but with the movies, they have an opportunity here to really cap things off properly. rather than just be an endless ongoing story for these particular Avengers.
Anyway, going on, it says at one point Hawkeye must protect the unfinished Stark Gauntlet from Thanos' minions, and it says he plays an, in quotes, instrumental, close quotes, role in Thanos' defeat.
This idea that Hawkeye is going to be pretty much the most underpowered Avenger and prominent character in probably the Marvel Cinematic Universe in some ways. That's something they probably wanted to show to everybody, that no matter how underpowered you are, no matter how big the odds are against you, comparatively, there is something in the human spirit that can defeat or help defeat in a significant way, not just in a kind of very background way, a being of ultimate power.
It's David and Goliath in a way.
Yeah, and no matter how much of an exaggeration that would be, again, I do think I would trust the Russo brothers to do something which would lend credibility to that. Add some verisimilitude, make us think, yeah, it's not just a kind of like a cheat necessarily. It's a definite possibility, which would tie into what Doctor Strange's predictions were
I'm
about.
not distrustful, let's say. Anyway, it then goes on to say Thor's subplot centers on him assembling an army to challenge Thanos, and Captain Marvel joins him. The next one's interesting. Hulk's subplot centers on Banner and Hulk finally merging to become Professor Hulk. He's the one that ultimately wields the Stark Gauntlet against Thanos, losing his arm in the process.
That sounds like that might be something pretty awesome to behold. It's the Hulk's time to shine after the events of Infinity War. It would be great to see him go against toe to toe against Thanos.
That was totally my worst thing about Infinity War, was the way that the Hulk was treated.
For a proper rematch where the Hulk is properly prepared, or at least as much as he can be. Of course, losing an arm in the process, that sounds more, obviously a far graver defeat in some ways than what happened to him before, but presumably there's a moral victory there for him.
Yeah, but it also said it grows back.
It grows back because presumably they're not going to kill off Hulk or leaving him literally armless indefinitely. But it sounds like it's a credible kind of defeat. It's not like the quick smash and crash.
Hulk's always been one of my favourite characters. I love the Lou Ferrigno Hulk TV series as well. I love that.
I don't think that the Lou Ferrigno TV series is reflected much in these films. It's a very different tone, isn't it?
I think it was more charming, that series, in some ways, although I do like this iteration of the Hulk as well.
These series, a large part of their appeal has been, perhaps also to millennials in particular, it's their snark. It's the fact that no one character takes anything too seriously for too long.
Yeah.
Well, that's not a big deal. Sometimes it's overplayed a little bit, and I think it's something that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been accused by many of being a bit too light, a bit too jokey, which undermines some of its sense of threat. But they've regained some of that, I think, with Infinity War, certainly with a really credible villain in Thanos.
Yeah. And then it says Nebula's subplot centers on her efforts to redeem herself. At one point, she fights her murderous past self, which is something I could kind of envisage happening. And then it also then says several MCU movies are revisited and retconned. Well, probably not permanently, such as the Avengers retrieving the Power Stone, creating a timeline where the Guardians of the Galaxy never came together.
And there's a pivotal scene between Doctor Strange and a fully CGI character being shot in a secret location with a skeleton crew. Of course, Shooting House wrapped a long time ago on this, but this is a theory that goes back, I think, to the Infinity War days, which now could prove to be pretty accurate, as we mentioned in the last video. So this character, the CGI character that Doctor Strange either faces off with or turns to for assistance, is taking up a sizable portion of the budget. So this is not going to be necessarily an insignificant character, perhaps a kind of a game changer as far as special effects crews are concerned.
Yes, I must admit that I'm really looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it basically says only 2 of the Avengers, and then it's got in brackets Cat, Stark, Thor, Hulk, Hawkeye and Black Widow, close brackets, meant to survive the movie. I think that means are meant. And then again we've got it's reiterated that Cat dies. And basically, well, and then at the bottom it says we're about to see the heartbreaking death of Captain America in Endgame. So there you go.
Are you going to be heartbroken to see Captain America go if this happens? If I'm sure there'll be others to fall. I'll be surprised if Iron Man doesn't go too.
I was,
But maybe
I'd just say I would have been heartbroken, but I can't really separate the character at the moment from some of the kind of SJW
Oh,
soy things that I've heard the actor say.
yeah, I'm willing to suspend disbelief enough to actually be invested in the fate of Captain America and the rest of these characters. Most of the rest of these characters, if
God, you become
Captain America,
Gandhi.
yeah, if
When did you
Captain
become
Marvel,
Gandhi when I
yeah,
wasn't looking?
truly, I am a broker of peace here on Earth. But if Captain America is the person to wage war against Thanos to a greater degree than anybody else, will that be something that is to your liking, or do you think this is going to be the ultimate cop out? Time will tell. Thanks for listening.
Yes, thanks very much for listening. And remember, well, it's a bit late now to say the spoiler alert again at the end, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you please subscribe, and leave comments for us. Tell us what you think about this potential way that the film's going to go. Anyway, have a good evening or afternoon. Stay safe wherever you are.
Take care.